You're right, guys. Today I'm thinking to talk a little bit about the mulch, the organic material we're using to cover our vegetable beds. Today we're going to talk about the differences and our difficulties with finding the right material for the right kind of crops, you see. So it's very clear to us that once you're planting veg, you know, a little delicate veg, and I'm going to be more specific at the moment, I'm going to be planting tomatoes. It's not so appropriate, it's not the best option to come with the eucalyptus leaves like we have here. We're going to show you different types that we've been using, but you see, we're obviously planting a lot of eucalyptus to produce a lot of the organic matter, and we're going to prune them down drastically like that and then bring down all this material. But you know, I've been giving the preference to the eucalyptus to feed, you know, the corridors where we step in, and also the tree beds as well. Because what happens is the eucalyptus is the kind of material which dries up really quick and it disappears rather quick, the leafage. So it gives a nice bit of shade, and best of all, the wood, you know, the wood comes down, you know, all the little stalks, and the wood is feeding back, and you know, we've got thicker wood chunks around, and it's really great information what the eucalyptus does. But for vegetable beds, we need something a little bit more consistent. So in this case here, in this bed here, we've gone with eucalyptus, but I'm planting here sugarcane, ginger and cassavas, okay? So this material, for it being light and for it to, let's say, dry out and disappear quickly, that's going to be right, because we're planting things that is going to grow and it's going to become a bush and it's going to shade, and that's going to stop the brachiaria from coming back, you know, other native grasses from around here from growing back, because we really want to kind of hold that back for a bit and let our main crop come through. So I mean, the idea is it needs to be thick enough for you to start to block all these grasses and native weeds to come through. It needs to be thick enough. But with the eucalyptus, I mean, because it's very aired, you know, it's very aired, as you can see, it's very fluffy, so we can't really get to that real thickness. If we put like a palm worth of mulch, really, if you press it down, it's equivalent to maybe 2 or 3 fingers of a different material. Okay, so it's very aired, and once things aren't so dense, and when things aren't so dense, they have the tendency to evaporate, you know, dry out and disappear quicker. And it's not going to be the case of it like rotting and becoming that, you know, the bottom layer of that mulching becoming black soil, you know, rich soil. Well, what we like is to have, you know, the top layer, sure, can dry out, but at the bottom you can really like rot away and decompose and, you know, integrate the life and the soil. So because we've got some sugarcane planted from these other beds here, it made sense. You know, we've got a couple of sugarcane beds here. This one here we just brought down, feed to the cows, and then we've got that one there. And now we've got another, you know, I had this one odd sugarcane bed here, so, you know, because they come in pairs, I've evened it up here with a nice other sugarcane right there. So as we're moving down, really our plan is to be planting tomatoes in this area. So as you can see, we're bringing in a lot of light, okay? We've got a little bit more of eucalyptus to cut down from around the edges there, but we're bringing in a lot of light. But here's a different material now. Now we'd rather use something, you know, that can be dense, you know, something that's been shredded at a greater extent, you see, really shredded stuff. So this here, my preferred option is to bring in the beds from the barns, right? Lots of videos we've been talking about this, you know, the bedding from the horses, how much I love it. The shredded eucalyptus goes into the barns, the horses do their thing there for a couple of weeks, and then we bring it in and we use it as the mulch to the vegetable beds. Obviously we've got the manure integrated with the soil and all the other, well, we're just basically using the cow manure and the soil here. But then we come in with the horse bed, which we've got the horse manure. It's not here, you know, it's here just for extra information. The horse manure has got all that urine and all that nice stuff on as a cover. You see, it's very separated. We do our best not to mix it up, you know, what's covering and what's on the soil. You see, it's like a blanket. So it's really a blanket, two different information, two different materials, what's covering as mulch and what's been integrated in the soil to be used as manure. And I've done lots of tests where I've had just shredded eucalyptus, shredded wood, and then, you know, halfway through the vegetable bed, I've introduced the shredded wood with the horse manure. And it's so shocking, the difference. It's like, yo, we've used the same manure in the soil, we've got the same information in the light, we've used the same seedlings, but it's shocking, the difference. So I invite you to try things because I've just had such positive results once I started using my horse bed as covering of the vegetable beds, all right? So what happened here? We've been planting a lot of beds. I didn't have enough horse bedding, right? But I did still have some shredded eucalyptus, and I've got some horse manure out in the pen, out in the grass, out in the field where I've got some of the mares and things like that. So we've actually taken the time out to round up horse manure from external source and actually mix it up with the shredded eucalyptus. So that's what we've done in the next couple of beds here, okay? So we've actually gone to the extent of actually mixing it up to make sure that my shredded eucalyptus has that extra information, all right? And so, you know, that's how much I feel about it. Obviously, there's all that manpower, there's all that workforce where I have to, you know, go and get the horse manure and then bring it here and then mix it up and then put it again into sacks and bring them into the field. But I really feel like it pays off. You know, I really feel like this material here is premium, especially this horse manure here, which has been out as well in the field, and it's like decomposed. It's almost like soil already. It's amazing. I love it. I love it. I really do love this material. See, already lots of life coming in with it. All right, so a little bit about that. Behind us here, I have another situation with different matter. We see here, we've got a perfect example where in the corridor, we've covered it with the eucalyptus leaves, right? And in the beds, we've covered it with the next grass. This is native grass. It's called Andropologo. Let's step over here. As you can see here, see all the trimmings. This is avocado trimmings. There must be an avocado tree right here. They're everywhere really. So we're covering the corridors with some of the wood. Can you see there the wood there? That more avocado wood, and then all the leafage in the corridors, in the tree beds obviously, primarily. But then once we've established that, we'll start moving on to the corridor, and then the corridors in between the what would be vegetable bed, because this has been vegetable bed for several years. This was planted in 2016, so we're going to the third year here, and I'm not feeling to plant vegetables again here. I've got some of the palm hearts, some really interesting trees coming from here, some bigger avocados and things like that, I don't want to keep on the radical pruning to leave the kind of sunlight that we would need to go back and produce more vegetable. So what I've done here, I've waited until we had the kind of climate where there's a little bit of a forest climate, because my passion, acai, I just love acai out here in Brazil. We love acai, man. And this is not the right place to plant acai out here in Brasilia. But you know, I've waited a couple of years until I got that kind of environment, that kind of feeling of the forest. And I'm hoping now that I'm going to plant acai here. I have planted acai, you know, hoping that maybe with this information, we're a lot more going into like a forest zone here than, you know, than like a savanna here where I am right now. You know, the humidity, and it's just nice and fresh. So I'm hoping, like, you know, the likes of cacao and acai I'm going to be able to produce here. So I'm definitely going to be trying that. So I've planted acai by seed here. We've planted coffees, all right? So we're planting things now that are from the woods, you know, things that are from, you know, basically not the savanna. So we've got not that coffee isn't from around here, but so the coffee's got to definitely occupy the lower strata, because we're obviously abandoning the idea of planting vegetables. So we're coming in with the coffee with the lower strata. I've planted bananas. So it's every 3 coffees, 1 banana. You know, you love the bananas. They're going to come pop through. We've marked where we've planted the bananas. You know, every meter we've got like a tree bed here. So it's the banana. A meter later, coffee, 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 banana, coffee, 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 banana. I love the bananas to bring up the coffees. Not only the organic matter it produces, the shade it produces, the amount of water it brings locally. Also, this is just great for the market. It's just bananas, the more the better. It's the kind of fruit that everyone wants and really sell it all. So we've gone ahead and we planted acai with every coffee and with every banana. Really, I really want to see the acai because it's a palm tree. It occupies a different strata. It doesn't bother anyone. There's no direct competition with anyone. It's not like opening its arms and occupying that space. It really shoots up and occupies a different strata. So I'm not worried about it. I've highly densed. I've planted 3 seeds in every tree bed with the banana and the acai. But the main thing, you know, that's in relation to the video here, obviously we planted other wild beans. I've planted papayas as well here to give that great stimulation, that competition for the banana and the papayas, and really looking to feed the animals, you know, really the banana to feed back the system, the papayas to feed back the animals, you know, the birds primarily, and then, you know, the microorganisms as it drops, and obviously the best papayas will go to the market. So simple to plant papayas, everything is ready, and just, you know, eat your breakfast and then bring in your seeds locally. So that's how I love to plant papayas, in high density seeds, and you can select the best one that comes out of each, you know, each little plot. So what's happened here, again, not enough ideal organic matter. The premium I've held back for the tomatoes and other vegetable beds, and here, because it's like rustic, we're planting, see, as you can see, it's like a lot of brachiata, and under the polygul is the next local grass. But you see, it's very rustic. It's not ideal for me to try open up one of these, you know, rustic, you know, mulching here and try get like a vegetable bed, a vegetable seedling popping through here, like a tomato seedling popping through. It's just too fluffy and it's just too wide. It's not ideal, and it's definitely not going to hold back the weeds from coming through as good as something else, which we'd like to give as a priority for the vegetable beds. So we're using really what we have. So I've gone outside, just outside my doorstep, and we brought in the under the polygul. It's a grass, and at this time of year it's already formed a lot of sticks, you know, like a lot of stick. So basically this is going to take longer to decompose, so that's interesting for one side, but it really doesn't close off. As you can see, you really get gaps of exposed soil here, but it's looking to be great. It's looking to be great. But you see, it's a different organic material, so we're really trying to dance and with what we have. We have lots of eucalyptus leaves to bring down, but you know, I've really concentrated the eucalyptus leaves, as you can see, in the center, you know, in the corridors where we're going to be stepping. We really enjoy like making it a really thick amount of mulching, so that, and really concentrate it. I'd rather concentrate it on one spot rather than spread it out what I have, because then you know, that top layer there will dry up and at the bottom it would decompose and become that rich, really incorporate that rich black soil there. Another option, of course, is working with service plants to cover the soil. So as you can see here, we've planted black beans with the tomatoes, so we were able to very quickly cover the soil. I did have material to cover to make that mulching at the time. It's wonderful material, but nevertheless we gave it the extra cover. This is an example of what you could do, is service plants that we've shown in previous videos as well. And look at the tomatoes, they're coming through very nicely. It'll be just the right time when these beans start drying out, ready for harvest. All the pods are flowering now, and then, you know, they're going to dry out, and this is when the tomatoes are going to get into their real production. They're also starting to flower. But these particular Italian tomatoes, with these particularly strand of tomatoes here, they produce best really late, so they can wait. It's just a case of experience. I've tried them in many different ways. So it comes at a very low cost of production, these tomatoes, because as you can see, they're very wild. They've fallen on the floor. They're really left to produce as they wish, as you will. But we do have great results, and it's all about producing low costs. So these tomatoes will come through greatly. And then we've got the cassavas as well coming through behind us, if I could find that cassava. So, you know, this is another option where we are covering the soil with service plants. All right, guys, so I hope this was interesting. I hope, you know, you can relate to some of these matters that we've brought up, some of these questions, some of the situations where we're using different materials for different kind of beds, different kind of crops. Let us know what kind of material you like to use for mulching, yeah? And you know, if you like the content, if you want to support the channel, the best way of doing that, you know, is giving us your like, you know, subscribing if you haven't subscribed, and then, you know, a little bell there too, so we can be notified when the new videos come in. All right, so from the Agroforestry Academy crew, don't forget to be in touch with us through the Instagram as well, and Facebook, some nice little smaller videos there throughout the week. So from us for now, till next time, keep it pruned.